Having a YouTube gun channel means you get asked quite a bit what your opinions are on certain types of guns. And one gun I get asked about all the time is the 1911. Usually those questions revolve around, are they capable as a self-defense gun, and are they reliable, and which one is the best one? Well, as far as whether they're capable, not of course they're capable. There's too many people that have died at the wrong end of a 1911 throughout history to say they're not capable of defending you. So they are a capable carry gun. Whether they're an optimal carry gun, that's a different question. And I would say no. I don't like carry guns that have safeties, etc. Plus they're low capacity and they're heavy, and you really don't get anything from that low capacity. You don't get any kickbacks or any advantages from that low capacity. You still have the same disadvantages of a semi-automatic gun, but with lower capacity. So they're not optimal, but they're still very capable. Now, as to which one is best, well, everybody expects different things from their guns. Everybody puts different value on different features. But I can tell you what I think is the best gun. Now, I kind of almost hesitate to say this new one that I think is going to be the best 1911 on the market because it could be a little controversial. And why is it controversial? I'll get into that in a minute. But first, I'll tell you which 1911 it is. And it is the Springfield Armory TRP Chris Kyle Commemorative Edition. Now, I've never even shot the new Chris Kyle gun. In fact, I'll probably never get to because I can't afford one. I can't even imagine a way I would ever get one unless Springfield Armory, decided to send me one, which they're not going to do. I mean, heck, I shill for Chiappa all the time, and they've never sent me a free gun, so I can't expect one from Springfield Armory, especially not a gun like this one. But I do have quite a bit of experience with the standard TRP, and I can tell you it's easily one of the best 1911s I've ever shot. The only real factor it's missing that keeps it from being top tier is that there's not a lot of prestige behind it. It's a Springfield Armory. And let's face it, with custom guns and high-end 1911s, a lot of the factor of why they're so cool or why they're the best is not only that they're good, reliable guns, but because there's a lot of prestige behind them, like custom makers, etc. In today's modern manufacturing, where CNC machines can do 1,000 different runs that are the same down to a micron, it's harder and harder for there to be a difference between a production gun and a custom gun, other than the fact of who makes it and how long it takes to make it. Whether it's done by hand or done by a machine, they're both pretty much as accurate. Well, this Springfield Armory actually does have some prestige. They take their TRP gun and they do some changes to it, give it a special coating, some other changes to it that make it really nice, give it the upgraded sights that the standard TRP doesn't have, give it the rail like the tactical TRP. Then they make it a commemorative by giving it a special serial number, the CK serial number. So now you take a gun that really wasn't that prestigious, and now it does have some prestige involved to it. It's more of a rare gun. It moves into that category with some more custom-made guns. And even though it's not a cheap gun, like I said, the reason I'll never have it is because it's expensive. It's like $2,400 MSRP or $2,500 MSRP for this gun. But it does come with some other things. It comes with a display case. It comes with the book, which I actually have read. It comes with a medallion. It comes with a certificate. So it's not just the gun you're paying for, but still, it's an expensive gun. But when you start comparing it to guns like Les Baer or Ed Brown, which it's easily as good as, it just wasn't as prestigious as, it's now not that expensive when you look at those guns, because those pretty much start off at $2,500 and go up from there. So it's at the bottom rung price-wise, but performance-wise, the TRP performs as well as any custom 1911 I've ever fired. Plus, you have to remember this gun is priced so that they can give some of the proceeds to charity, so that does affect the price a little bit. So if you haven't seen this gun yet, I urge you to go over and take a look at it, especially if you're a Chris Kyle fan or a 1911 fan, because this gun has the potential, in my mind, to be the best 1911 that's on the market today for any price, much less the price it's at. Like I said, the price might seem expensive until you start considering the guns that it's in the company of and the guns that it can compete with. Then it doesn't seem so expensive, but I still can't afford it. Now, I almost didn't want to talk about this gun because it is kind of controversial, because he's a very controversial figure. And I run the risk of alienating some people who watch my channel. But then I thought, it's never stopped me in the past. I alienate people every day, so why won't I speak about it? So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about it. The one thing I want to make clear is me liking this gun is not an endorsement of Chris Kyle. I'm not a fan of Chris Kyle. I'm not a detractor of Chris Kyle. I have no animosity towards Chris Kyle, but I'm not a fanboy. As a soldier, I respect him. Just like I have respect for any person who puts on the uniform and does their job. Just like I would for a cook or a tank mechanic or whatever their MOS is. As long as they put on their uniform and they go out there and serve their country honorably, I have the same respect for all of them. And that includes Chris Kyle. Now, of course, you can do things afterwards to make me lose the respect for you. You can go out and, like, I don't know, rape a bunch of babies, and then I'm not going to respect you. But Chris Kyle, as far as I know, never raped a bunch of babies, so I have no disrespect for him as a soldier. And, I really don't fault him for the things that he said that weren't true. There were a lot of things he said that weren't true, the killing civilians during Katrina, killing carjackers, things like that. There were some things that he said that just weren't true, and they were pathological lies. So he had some issues, but, what kind of person does his job for as long as he did it and doesn't have some issues? But to me, that doesn't deserve animosity. That deserves, compassion. So I'm kind of compassionate for the problems he had and the fact that I think he got manipulated by some people, like some publishers, etc., that wanted to make money off of him, and they used the issues he had to make a lot of money. Now, I do have a problem with the fact that they said that all the money from the book was going to go to charity, and then it turns out, according to court records, when Ventura sued him, that not only did he lie about Ventura, that out of the over $3 million they made off the book, they only gave $56,000 of it to charity, period. So that's less than 2%. So to me, that's worse than Wounded Warriors. So I would not support him as a humanitarian because he obviously wasn't one, and neither is his wife. I don't really have a high opinion of his wife at all. So long and short of it, I respect him as a soldier. I respect what he did. I think he had some issues when he got out of the military. I think people took advantage of that. And I think he didn't do what he said. He didn't donate the money like he said he was going to. And his wife's excuse in court of saying, oh, it's for tax reasons, that's bullcrap, because all they had to do was set up a nonprofit, which there were already several nonprofits set up in his name to donate the money tax-free, which they didn't do. They just put it in their own personal bank account and kept it. Unfortunately, that's not a rare story these days when you look at groups like Wounded Warriors, etc. So it's something that happens, but doesn't mean I have to be accepting of it when it happens, and I'm not. So I do not respect them as individuals, neither Kyle nor his wife, but that's not why I would buy this gun. They didn't make this gun because Chris Kyle was a wonderful man. They made this gun because he was an important soldier, a great soldier, and he was a very famous soldier. That's why they made this gun. So that's why I would like to have this gun. And when you add that on top of the fact that it's just an amazing 1911, that's another reason to want it. So if you're someone that hates Chris Kyle and thinks everything he ever did was wrong, or you're someone that loves Chris Kyle and thinks that everything he ever did was wonderful, or if you're someone like me that knows he was a great soldier, but he was human and did some things that were wrong, you can still want this gun. Because when you get right down to it, this gun has everything a 1911 owner would look for. It's super reliable, it's super accurate, it's amazingly put together, it's got a great set of features, and now it's got a little notoriety, it's got a little something extra that makes it special. And when you add in the fact that this gun costs way less than those other rare and prestigious 1911s that it's competing with and easily competes with, then you've got a real winner. You've got a gun that easily has all the elements necessary for it to be the best 1911 on the market today.